Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We're learning Mishna Nedarim, Parak Aleph, Chapter 1, Mishna Dalet, Mishnah 4. Okay. Ha'omer, one who says. Now, this whole list of what we're about to say connects to the end of the sentence. If a person says, Karban oila, mincha, chatas, toida, shlamim, sheni eichalach. A person says, Karban oila, that I'm not going to eat what is yours. That's how he said it. You got that? He said, a karban oila, that I'm not going to eat what is yours. Meaning, instead of saying what carbon, right? Meaning, we've been learning that one of the things, the way you make another is you link it to a carbon, and you say carbon she'eni eichalach, right? Meaning, like a carbon, your food, and I'm not going to eat it. But this time, the person said carbon oila, carbon mincha, meaning he said specific carbonis when he made the nether. He said a carbon oil that I will not eat that which is yours, a carbon shlamim that I will not eat that which is yours. All these are examples of sacrifices, and in this case, he used those. That is how he might try to make his nether. He didn't just say carbon; he said carbon oila, carbon mincha. So the Mishnah is saying that although you did not say like a carbon, you just said carbon. So in essence, when you say those words, carbon oila, that I'm not gonna eat that which is yours. What did you say there? You said carbon oila, that I'm not gonna eat that I will not eat that which is yours. That's not really an explicit linkage, but we understand that that's what you're doing. You're trying to link it. And even though all these karbanis mentioned, the Bartanura points out, I shouldn't say all of them, but some of them are obligatory karbanis. It's not like something that you initiate on your own. Nonetheless, it is something that, again, the animal that you're going to use is something that you sanctify. You're the one who makes it usher. And therefore, using these sacrifices as what you're linking your nether to is works. That's what the Mishnah says, usher, it's forbidden. Rabbi Yehuda Mater. Rabbi Yehuda says, in all these cases, you are not forbidden. It means in all these cases, you have not made a effective nether. And that's because we actually had this before. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you have to say like. You have to say ke carbon oila, ke carbon mincha. Like, you have to explicitly say like a carbon oila, like a carbon mincha. Otherwise, according to Rabbi Yehuda, if you just say carbon oila that I won't eat of yours, he says that really has a connotation of a shvua, of an oath. You're basically saying, by the life of this carbon oila, I'm not going to eat that which is yours. And that is not a nether, and it's not even going to be an effective shvua. An effective shvua is when you swear by Hashem, not by something else. So therefore, Yehuda says mutter. The halacha is not like Yehuda. The halacha is like the Tanakama, as Mishnah will continue explaining. That you don't have to say like a carbon, you could just say carbon, that which I will not eat of yours, and it's understood that you mean like a carbon, that I will not eat what is yours. I'm making your food like a carbon. Now the Mishnah continues back in the Tanakama. Ha carbon, ki carbon, carbon she'echalach aser. Any of these three variations, if you say ha carbon, the carbon, I will not eat of yours. If you say like a carbon, I will not eat of yours. If you say a carbon that I will not eat of yours, all these work as expressions of nether, and you become usher. Now, we actually had 2 out of the 3 we already had. Ka carbon, like a carbon, that's the best way to do it. Mm-hmm. Carbon means you left out the kaf like, you just said sacrifice. That's what we've been discussing until now. Even without saying like, according to the Tanakh, excuse me, it works. What's being added to here is the ha carbon, the carbon. That there you might have thought that when you say the carbon, that is a let me just make sure I'm getting this right here. Right. One might have thought that when someone says the offering, he means to swear by the life of the offering, which we know is meaningless. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. When you say like a carbon, it's clear. Carbon, clear enough. Ha-carbon, you might have thought the carbon that I will not eat of yours is an expression like a shua, like an oath, even according to the Tanakama. Therefore, the Mishnah here says no. Ha-carbon, the carbon, is just like saying ka-carbon, like a carbon explicit, or carbon a sacrifice. All these mean that you're trying to consider this food that you're forbidding, you're making it like a carbon that's forbidden to have benefit from. All right, next case. Now, all these are very, they're very detailed. La carbon lo oichalach. That's the wording that he said. La carbon lo oichalach. La carbon means to the offering. I will not eat that which is yours. Okay, so what is the connotation of that? Rabbi Meir Oiser. Rabbi Meir says forbidden. No, it's a good neder. Why? Because we understand that when you say la carbon to the offering, what you're saying is your food will be as though it were designated to be an offering. Therefore, I will not eat it. So la carbon means to the offering. To the offering means I am making this food as if it was designated for a carbon, and that would make it usher. So Rameir therefore says it's a good expression for a neder. The thing is that if the Mishnah says Rabbi Meir says it, that means that the Tanakh, that means that this is Rabbi Meir's individual opinion. This is not the opinion of the Tanakhama. Tanakhama spoke about ha-carbon, ka-carbon, carbon. Not speak about la carbon. And the explanation is that according to the Tanakhama, la carbon, interesting enough, because you say la carbon, almost it actually means loy carbon, not a carbon. That's what that word means. When you say la carbon, it's almost like a shortened version of saying loy carbon. And therefore saying loy carbon, not a carbon, that I'm not going to eat of yours, that doesn't make sense, right? Loy carbon, not a carbon, meaning it's permissible, it's not sacrifice, it's not sanctified, that I will not eat of yours. You're not linking it to anything forbidden when you say loy carbon. You're linking it to something that's not a carbon, that means it's permitted. And therefore, the Tanakhama says la carbon would not work. Next, someone says to his friend, Kainam pi amadaber imach. Literally translated, kainam we know is a substitute word for carbon. So he's saying, carbon pi amadaber imach. A sacrifice my mouth from speaking with you. That speaks with you. A carbon my mouth that speaks to you, meaning a carbon my mouth in regard to speaking to you. Yadi, a carbon my hand, oisi imach, regarding doing work with you. Raglai mahalach oisi imach, kainam, my feet in regard to walking with you. Usser. In all these cases, it's usser. Now, what is this person trying to forbid? He's trying to forbid himself from speaking to him, right? He's trying to forbid walking with him. He's trying to forbid working with him. So why not just say a carbon that I won't speak with you? That's like saying my words should be like a carbon, and therefore I can't speak with you. Why? It doesn't say that. It says in the Mishnah, my mouth should be a carbon. And their answer is because any neder has to be connected to an object, right? You have to forbid the food, right? A neder is not on you. An oath is on you. A neder is directed towards an object. And it has to be something that is a davar sheyesh by mamish. That means it has to have substance to it. Do words have substance? Physical substance they don't have. Okay? Actions don't have substance. So you cannot forbid an action through an neder. But here, what you're doing is, you're not forbidding the action, you're forbidding the mouth. You're saying, my mouth should be forbidden. The object that's becoming forbidden is my mouth. In regard to what? In regard to speaking with you. So it's the mouth that becomes forbidden. And because it's forbidden, regarding that it can't speak with you, it doesn't speak. I mean, it's not forbidden from, eating. It's not forbidden from speaking to somebody else. The whole point is, the net, you could always direct and formulate the narrative that you want it to be. But the point is, though, the rule is it's got to take effect on something of substance. And in this case, since you are saying your mouth should be like a carbon, it means your mouth should become forbidden like a carbon regarding to speaking to you. That's going to work. That's why it says in the Mishnah, in all these cases, usher, it's forbidden. It is an effective neder. Have a wonderful day.
Okay. Thank you, Rabbi.